friends, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Melissa. And you guys, I don't even want to do this video, but full transparency, I'm going to show you guys what my numbers look like for the end of May for all my debts. It's not pretty, so let's just not waste any time and just jump right on it. The first debt up is Venus. So I haven't spent any money on this card. This card has been paid off. It remains at a zero balance. But the next one up is my Carter's card. And if you guys have paid close attention to the last video that I published or, posted about my YNAB reset and monthly recap of what happened in the month of May, you will realize what these numbers are. They are the same. There's a couple of things that differ, but most of the numbers are the same. I didn't go through everything, but in here I will. So you would have already known that Carter's have the balance remaining on the card as of the end of the month, which is $389.43. I started out at a zero balance. This is monies that I used to purchase clothes for my two youngest. Next up is my famous footwear card. I did have a balance starting the month of $99.37. I did pay this off, so I can go back and strike this one out. I paid this off. I paid $99.37, so this card is now at a zero balance again. Next card up is the Chase card. This one started out at a zero balance in the beginning of May. I spent $830.53. So this comprised of tickets for my children to go to Jamaica for the summer and also to go to Florida to visit their grandparents. May kind of got away from me at the last 2 weeks. So I've been saying this in my last video. My in-laws were staying with us, and because of that, I kind of just let loose. And then right after that, I ended up going on vacation with my sisters for my birthday, which was great. I had a very good time. It was good to hang out and bond with them. We enjoy each other's company. So it is what it is, $830.53. Next up is my Marcus card. So my Marcus card started out at $1,272.12. I did not spend anything on this card. I didn't make any payments because there was no minimum payments due. So I was like, I'm going to wait until the month of June, which is the month that I'm currently in. Today's June 4th. So I said I was going to wait until June comes around for me to make the minimum payment instead of putting the money there when it wasn't really needed. So I started out at $1,272.12, and that's the amount that I ended with. And this card, I'm waiting for reimbursement from my insurance for the periodontist. So there is a charge for $600 and there was a charge for $260. So that's a total of $860 that I'm waiting for in reimbursement. It may not be the full amount because they may not reimburse 100% of my cost, but whatever they send to me, I will be thankful. I will be happy. I'll put it back to this card, and the rest of it, I will have to stand that bill. Next up is my Capital One number 2 card. Now this one went up slightly. I started out at $2,250.08. This card is at a 26.47%. My minimum payment that was made was $35. I spent $461.70. I did lose $39.56 to interest in the month of May, and I ended the month of May at $2,716.34. Next up is my Apple card. This one didn't do bad. I started out at $1,921.59. This is at a 27.24%. My minimum payment that was made was $35 and about 8 cents. The 8 cents, I don't know how or what happened there, but my calculations end up being, 8 cents. So I put it into the minimum payment. And the only reason why I put it there because whatever was spent on the card was paid back and then a little bit. So the 8 cents, I just put it into the minimum payment instead of saying it was an extra payment. So I have no extra payment. I have no purchases because all of what was spent was paid back. There was no interest. I actually covered the interest. That's another thing. There was actually $41.10 in interest, but I did cover it out of the budget somehow because here was what happened. So I used this card on a regular basis to pay for different things. So what I ended up doing was I applied a payment to this card in anticipation of paying a bill with it. Now it just so happened I wanted to use this card to pay my renter's insurance. And if you have seen any of my videos, I was expecting to pay renter's insurance this month. Well, in the month of May. It wasn't due. I don't have renter's insurance due again until the month of September. So I did go ahead and apply the payment for the renter's insurance to this card, and then I didn't need to pay it. So I just left it there. It ended up covering the interest, so I'm not going to apply the interest because my balance that I ended the month of May with was $1,886.51. I don't know if that makes sense, but with how I have the formula set up, it works. So the bottom line is whatever was spent on this card was paid back. So I didn't incur any additional debt on my Apple Card. Next card up is Mattress Firm. So you do know the story with Mattress Firm. I'm only paying down this balance. The minimum payment is $67. There is no interest. I'm not using this card to make any purchases. $2,593 was what I started out with, and I ended it $2,526 even. Next up is my Discover card. Now, Discover is another card that I did use and I did pay back. So I used this to buy gas because Discover was running one of their quarterly promotions of, getting 5% back in gas. I always do use a card to buy gas because I also do Upside, which is the app that you receive cash back for basically buying gas. So in the month of May, I think I earned, if I'm not, getting this mixed up, I think I earned about $40 in rewards. Not all in the month of May, but I cashed out about $40 in Upside rewards. So it was good. And I'm waiting for Discover to close just so I can see the amount of, I would say, cashback I earned by buying the gas. Anyway, I started out at $5,550.33. This card is my highest interest card. I talk about it all the time. It's at 29.99%. My minimum payment was $165, which I did pay. I lost $74.70 in interest. That is what Discover charged me in interest. And I ended the month at $5,460.03. So there was no extra payment made to this card. And whatever purchase I made, I covered it. So it's not considered really a purchase. Next up is my big old monster of a card. This is my Capital One #1 card. I started out at $13,784.80. This card is at a 28.15%. My minimum payment wasn't $339.50. My minimum payment, I think, was $473. But like I said, I actually do use these cards, and whatever I use this card to buy or to pay for, I usually then make the payment to the card, so it satisfies my minimum payment. So I actually use this card to, I think, pay my car insurance. I don't remember. There's so much that happened in the month of May in the last 2 weeks that threw me all the way off. But the minimum amount that I made was $339.50. There was an extra payment of $431, but it didn't come out of my budget. This was $431 of rewards that I applied to the balance of the card. And I lost $324.15 in interest. That is interest on purchases, and that's interest on a cash advance that I took out that I just need to hurry up and get rid of this balance. I ended the month of May at $13,765.14. Not bad. Whatever was charged to this card was paid back. Next up is my student loan. This one is also just being paid down. $1,519.70 was what I started out with. It's only a 5% interest rate. My minimum payment is $40, which is what I paid, and I lost $6.33 of that amount. So I ended the month with $1,486.03. Because next up is my 401k loan. So this is what happened with my 401k loan. I did tell you guys that I would talk about it when I close out my debts for the month of May. I started out at $13,158.93. This was at a 6% interest rate. I had a minimum payment of $442. What I did was I took out an additional loan and I refinanced the loan. So now my interest rate is only 5%. So I could change this to 5%. I took out an additional loan of $9,104. Now, what they do, they do take interest payment out of their insurance. There's a small amount of interest and a small amount of insurance that they take out against this loan amount. Then, when they recalculated everything, I did have a payment that was going out. So my new payment is going to be $204 bi-weekly. So it's not going to round out to be $442 anymore. It's going to round out to be $408, which is good because that's less money coming out of my paycheck, more money coming home to me. Once I go in and I recalculate for my June debt closeout, I will change my minimum payment here. I lost, not really lost, because remember, this interest comes back to me. So there is a small fee to take out this loan. I guess it's the check fee. So it's all rolled into this amount that I have here. $369 was the amount that was taken out of this loan amount and put back into my 401k contribution. Anyway, I ended the month of May. My new balance for my 401k loan is $21,985.93. So that's where I'm at. And as of today, June 4th, when I look, they have not updated my new balance for the month. This only updates once a month. I don't get to see an update, multiple times for the month based on when my payments are made. It's just once a month. So we'll see what the new balance is. I don't know how many additional payments were applied in the month of May. We'll find that out within a couple of days because they usually update the balance early off in the month. Between now and the 10th, it should be updated. Okay, so next up is OneMain. And I can feel like a little bit of weight just fall off my shoulders. I started out at $14,214.75 with OneMain. The interest rate is 24.99%. My monthly payment minimum is $507.96. I made an extra payment of $8,346.02. There was no additional purchases, and the amount that I lost to interest was $360.28. Why I lost so much? Because last month I lost less to interest. I had to cancel a payment in May, or I think I canceled a payment in April. And when it rolled around and I paid it in May, there was a lot of days in between. So I lost a lot of interest. When I made that payment, it seemed like it didn't even matter when I made the payment, because most of that payment, I think it was like almost 90% of the payment went towards the interest. So my interest payment is higher now. I think going forward, I know that going forward, because my balance is so much lower, I will be paying less in interest. However, I ended the month of May with $5,721.05. That is what my OneMain balance is right now. And I'm going to knock this sucker out before the end of the year. Believe me. All right, next up is Lending Club. Now, Lending Club is coming down pretty nicely. I started out at $22,289.83. This is at 18.74%. The minimum payment is the highest of all of them, $1,059.22. There was only a 78 cents extra payment because I did set up bi-weekly payments with them for half of the payment, and I didn't split it down to the cents. I just rounded it out at 10 at $1,060. So the extra money, the 78 cents, will bring it up to $1,060. That's why it's there. I didn't have any additional purchases. This is a loan, so I'm only paying it down. But look, you guys, this one hurt my heart. This one really hurt my heart, you guys. $497.52 I lost to interest. This was the most interest, the highest amount of money I have lost to this loan in interest. Reason is the biweekly payments. So usually when I make my big payment, because I try to make it as early as I can, so as soon as I know that I have the money available, I make the payment. But this time around, I waited and I made a half a payment, and then I waited again to make the second half payment. So there was a lot of days in between. I know that moving forward, it's not going to be as high as it is right now because, it's a simple interest loan, daily simple interest. So they calculate interest per days in between your payments. But because I didn't make such a big payment in May for the first payment, I lost some to interest. I took a hit, but I was able to split the payments, and I have myself on a good schedule right now, so it won't be so strenuous to take $1,060 out of one paycheck to pay for this loan. So I ended the month of May with $21,727.35. I'm not going to sweat it. We'll just keep moving with this one. Next up is my auto loan, and I think this is the last one. Yes, it is. I started at $38,343.52. Interest rate is 6.19%. I made my minimum payment of $939.23. No extra payment. It's a loan, so no more purchases. Look at the interest that I lost. $162.12. This is good. This is actually pretty good. I think this is the lowest that I've gotten charged for interest for as long as I've had this loan. So I'm doing pretty good when it comes to this loan and the interest. The other ones up here, not so good. So I ended the month of May, $37,566.41. So I'm not doing terrible with this one either. And I'm just going to watch these balances come down and, just work the process, just work the journey. I'm just going to continue doing what I have to do to pay these down. So let's just jump into the summary, and we're going to talk about what happened. I started out the month of May with $116,998.02, and I was so happy to be under the $117,000 mark. I made a total minimum payment of $3,729.36, extra payment of $8,555.11, purchases $10,785.66, interest I lost $1,833.66. This is a big number. This is a very big number. But if you take out this $369 that I gained, because this goes back to me, but I'm not going to take it out. I'm just going to leave this $1,800 here. It would be lower, but I'm not taking it out. I'm ending the month, and my debt went up to $117,332.87. Not happy about that, but you guys, it is what it is. May kind of got away from me. And, I got a little happy when it came down to spending. I should have just stuck to my plan, but, it is what it is. So let's look at the debt progress for the month of May. My starting debt in the month of October in 2023 was $123,217.48. Last month was $116,998.02. This month went up a little bit to $117,332.87. That means I didn't pay anything this month. I gained or added onto my debt $334.85. That's 29% in the wrong direction. So I added 30% in the wrong direction. So my overall debt reduction is reduced to now $5,884.61. And my overall percent of debt paid is 4.78%. So I'm going to beat the dead horse. I'm not going to cry over it. It is what it is. This journey, it's not for the faint at heart. You got to be strong. You got to stick to it. And for me, I'm having an up and down time because I'm human and I still have a family to maintain. I still have a life to live. And there are times when, your emotions have a lot to do with your spending. And trust me, the last 2 weeks, I was on an emotional roller coaster. So that's where what took a hit. And I did tell you guys last time that I am tracking the interest over time for the year 2024. The month of April was $1,232.46, and I went up. Month of May, $1,833.66. That's not good. That's not good at all. So I need to figure this out. I need to get it better. You know what I mean? I will continue to pay the debts down. The good thing about this is these balances up to here, which are the loans, these are gonna continue to be paid down. And once these are gone, my auto loan, lending club, and One Main, I'm not going back there. And I'm not going back there. It is what it is, but I'm not going back there. So I do have to control my credit card spending. I find myself using them as a crutch. I don't need to be spending $430 something in credit card interest. That's money that I'm just throwing away. So I'm just trying to stay the course and get rid of these and see how it work out. So you guys, this was the month of May. I'm not happy. I'm not proud of it, but it is what it is. I can't beat myself up. I can't. So I appreciate you guys for hanging on. I appreciate you guys for always, watching and commenting. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe. I would love for you to follow along with my journey. I would love the encouragement. So you guys, if you do watch, just comment, leave me a comment, whatever it is, just so I know that you're there, just so YouTube knows that you're there, and, come back and see me. So you guys, my name is Melissa, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.